Well, look what's hidden back here. California sagebrush. I don't know why there's so little of it. I can see that this is facing some problems and that it's next to this bunker where human beings are always going through. And you have this non-native Cape ivy that is kind of trying to dominate everything here. Notice how different that is from the other plants that I pointed out that are kind of like living in harmony, whereas this Cape ivy all of a sudden just kind of blankets everything. It's not like taking a turn the way the other plants are. Oh, I'm gonna use this spot and then you can use that spot. Now this Cape ivy is on its way to covering everything. It's covering the California blackberry right here. It's covering the sagebrush. It's using the sagebrush as a support system. It's using all of them that way. Look at it. Let's see if we can, oh wow, look at that. I'm trying to find the end and it's like wrapped time and time again all the way up this sagebrush. You see, this is nearly full suffocation of whatever's underneath. I don't even know what's underneath. If I look up here, come on, focus. I think that's Ceanothus, California blue blossom. But you wouldn't know it over here. And there's probably multiple native plants under here, as I've shown in all the other videos. They share space. Well, this is what not sharing looks like. And I think we all know that plants want sunshine and want air. And living creatures such as the bird that I just filmed want access to those plants. So this non-native is also preventing that. That's why you can't just say, oh, live and let live. No, this is a problem. There's a reason some plants are labeled as invasive. This is what you call invasive behavior. It's trying to take over. It's not living in harmony with the other plants. Okay, I don't have a tripod, so I can't film myself working on this, but I'm going to put the camera down and then I'm going to film this after I've made some progress. We're going to see what's underneath. Okay, I've only been going for about 2 minutes and I'm stopping already because this is significant. The first thing I noticed was that I was just finding more Cape ivy underneath and everything's dark. It's like starting to rot. This is what I've pulled so far. Here's an idea of the length of one. I got this one nearly at the bottom, it looks like. But I finally found some California blackberry trying to survive underneath of it, but it was just being deprived of air, which, you know, you need the air and the sun to stop rot. Not to mention photosynthesis from the sunshine. And now I can see the edge of the California blue blossom. Couldn't see any of that before. I'm stopping again just to ask a question because I have a long way to go before completing this project, so to speak. The question is, how much did the little bit of help that I just provided possibly allow the native plants to fight back and do, you know, their own part in this fight to survive? It would be interesting to watch and see, right? Problem is, with this being a plant that clearly has an invasive nature about itself, you got to think it's going to take back over. So there are times where humans actually have to help. I mean, humans are the reason that this is happening in the first place, so why is it so unreasonable to occasionally help out? Nature's amazing. Nature's resilient. That doesn't mean you can't help it. especially when you're the cause of the problem in the first place. I want to go look over at a healthier area of native plants and see what's taking place compared to what takes place underneath of a dominated area. Here we have blue blossom. Again, it's the plant that I pointed out was buried by the Cape ivy over there. And notice the air, notice the space, notice how that particular design allows something like this California blackberry vine to pass through it and live harmoniously with it and still be healthy, get plenty of air, get plenty of sun, and they're here together. This looks like a lanternum. I'm not that familiar, but if I'm correct, it's native, and it makes sense that it is because I see that it's working with California blackberry here. Something else that I didn't see taking place in the Cape ivy was another sign of health, a spider web. I'm not capturing that very well in the sun, unfortunately. More California blackberry. We got coyote brush. I mean, the fact that I can make out multiple species already tells you how much different it is. With the Cape ivy, the only thing I could see is the Cape ivy. More coyote brush, more California blackberry. We got the tall stalk of a bee plant coming up through there. Yeah, I mean, it's a mosaic rather than a monoculture. Did you hear that? I think there's a nest in there. I don't want to disturb that bird, but it's another example of the difference of a native plant in a healthy condition versus what we saw over there with the Cape ivy, because there was nothing taking place within the branches of that mess of suffocation back there. Some of the rot that I'm finding is the Cape ivy itself, but that doesn't stop the fact that it's rot. I mean, the Cape ivy isn't even friendly to itself. It just wants to take over. Making some progress. There's a lot to get rid of, though. Man, imagine. This is just from right here. So when I see some of this rot in here, I can't tell, at a glance at least, how much of it is the native blue blossom and how much of it is this plant rotting other portions of itself. I was just imagining someone coming by and questioning what I'm doing, and it made me think about the mindset of human beings, perhaps being upset that I'm getting rid of the pretty yellow and exposing all these dried, dead branches. Not dry, actually. This just tells you the narrow-mindedness of human beings. The only thing you are concerned about is whether it's temporarily pretty for your enjoyment rather than long-term health. Maybe that's overly negative. It's certainly possible, but it's also possible that someone might find it educational. But, you know, I'm an old man at this point. My negativity is based on experience. Anyway, we are seeing blue blossom being exposed here. Getting to breathe fresh air, finally. I'm going to go underneath too. You got to keep that airflow going through. Like we saw with the other native plants, there's plenty of breathing room in between the branches. So it's not just about giving these guys at the top air. We got to go underneath. I mean, this is a lot of damage that the Cape Ivy's done. I've almost met the limit of my reach. I'm going to see if I can't come around from behind there and get some of this. I can't. You can see the blue blossom here. I would have to trample it to get in there. Damn. And this is where humans inventing tools could actually be a good thing. Tell you what, I certainly couldn't see down into there before. Look how far the sunlight's managing to reach. A little bit of help goes a long way. Couldn't see any of that ceanothus previously. Not even that up there. I've got a long way to go. I just have to figure out how to reach it without causing damage. At least minimizing the damage. Look at this poor blackberry vine. Let's hope it can recover now that it's got some sun. The work that I just did only took a few minutes. And I know I'm very mean, I'm very negative about the human race, but we are lazy. And we're always looking for the easy way out. We're always bragging about things that'll do work for us instead of us doing the work ourselves. And yet, we also have these. One of the things that makes us so unique: hands, fingers, thumbs. Why aren't we using this in our battle for restoration instead of just saying, oh, we got to bring in livestock? This is far more effective. Precise, surgical, well, I don't know, that might be going a little far. I wouldn't say that it was surgical precision, but compared to using cattle, yeah. Of course, I don't even think you could use cattle in a situation like this. Humans would use machines instead of doing what I'm doing and actually helping a plant that's already existing to fight back. I have a bad feeling that they'd rather just come through and... Here we have a similar situation, but slightly different plants. We have bee plant being suffocated, as well as the California blackberry. But instead of the ceanothus, we have bee plant this time, all being suffocated by this Cape ivy. All that. That's all native plant that can suddenly breathe again. I would rather show a shot of this with all the Cape ivy missing, but that's proving to be difficult to reach. I will come back and try again, but I'm starting to be interrupted by people coming by. And I'd rather just do this without people watching. People just don't understand for the most part. That's a lot of progress, actually. Look how much it is. I mean, no wonder there's rot. No wonder there's not anything healthy happening underneath. Look how much of this there is. Like, this is actually heavy. That was just here.